is up, my ASMR and fragrance family? It's your boy, your whispering perfume pimp, Christopher Cologne, and I'm back with another video. Okay, so I ended up waking up late, and I woke up way later. I went to sleep about 2:33. I was gonna just sleep till 7:30 and then going to work about 9:30 and everything, but that didn't work out. I didn't wake up until my girlfriend come in at 11:30 and woke me up. So I was gonna end up being late for, well, no, she came in at like 11, but I was gonna be late for work, and I go out to my truck, go to start it, and the battery's dead. And at 12 o'clock at night, ain't nobody up, ain't nobody coming to jump you off or anything like that, so I'm out of work tonight. Saying it's shit like this that keeps happening to me, which, I mean, this is my fault because I left the ignition on. I don't know how I did that, but somehow I left the key turned, so it ran my battery dead. But yeah, this type of bullshit that keeps happening. But like I said, it's my fault, so the only one I could be mad at is myself. But I figure, since I'm off tonight, it's about 2 o'clock now, I'll go ahead and hit up a couple videos. And this one, since I had a viewer mention it and I've been thinking about it, go ahead and do a video on, or do some videos on my life or stories that have, from stuff that's happened in my life and everything. So I guess it's a little bit of history about me, even though I usually give a little bit of history. And since I'm out of bottled water, because I'm not drinking the water that's coming out of that's gonna come out of that tap. Stuck drinking some oat milk because I can't do regular milk anymore, dairy milk. I can't do cow titty squirts. It's nasty. It's disgusting. I used to love chocolate milk. I can only drink chocolate milk that I make out of oat milk or almond milk or anything. I can't do something that came out of another animal's tits. I can't do it. And then I put a little bit of my girlfriend's oat milk coffee creamer in here. I think it's coffee crumb or something like that. Put that in there for taste. But yeah, so I figured I'd go ahead and do this one. Yeah, so I was born in 82, which makes me 40. I'm fucking old. Yeah, I was born in 82 in Texas, and lived the first 12 years of my life there. Oh man, I had my few friends there. I had a dude named Michael that lived right on the corner. Then up the road, around the corner, and towards the end of their road was a couple friends, Nathan and Thomas. They were brothers. Then I had my friend Justin, that was on the other side of like the neighborhood. And man, we used to rollerblade, all kinds of stuff. And there was a construction company, I think it was for the state, that was at the end of the road. Went to the end of the road, made a left, and went down the main road. And at the busy stoplight, that's where they had their trucks. But they also had a sand hill. And I don't even know how big this sand hill was, this sand hill was huge. Or at least it was to me, considering we were kids. We were only like 10 years old, something like that. We used to ride our bikes down there and go play King of the Hill. We found a hole in the fence or something, and we'd sneak in there and go climb on that thing and wrestle each other at the top and throw each other off and everything. And we'd go up to the store that was at the end of the road, at the end of my road. Go to the store and play pool up there, and I think that's where my love for pool started, because I really love playing pool, even though I don't get to much anymore. Well, matter of fact, once every, like few games every few years is what I end up doing now. But, yeah. And then my last night in Texas was the Texas Rangers' first game in that stadium that they've been in for years. I think they're in a new stadium now, though, like just opened. But yeah, I went to 5th grade twice, because the first time I went, I still passed, but I didn't pass to my potential from what my mom was saying. So she held me back and put me back in. So I went to 5th grade twice, and this is while I was still in Texas. And I remember one of my friends, Jeremy. Now, there was this girl I had a crush on, and the way they had us, they had me and Jeremy sat here, and her friend sat across from us, and Jeremy's sitting there making me laugh, and we all know how school lunches are. So yeah, it had my stomach tore up, and Jeremy was making me laugh like crazy, and he kept making me laugh, and the more he'd make me laugh, the worse my stomach would get. So I ended up having a fart, and it was just getting harder to hold in, and I leaned over to him and I was like, Jeremy, man, you gotta quit making me laugh. I'm about to fart, man, my stomach's all messed up. And he said something else, and it was even funnier than the stuff he was already saying. So I ended up laughing even harder, and whenever I did, it just came out. So there I am, the laughing stock of the class, and right in front of the girl I had a crush on. So that was pretty damn embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing telling this story, but nowadays I don't give a fuck. So yeah. But yeah, that was my second time in 5th grade. And then we ended up moving to North Carolina because my grandparents moved up here. So sorry. We ended up moving up here, and small town, country as fuck, and moved up here, and me and the older kids, well, even though I got along with them great, they didn't get along with me. I got bullied like hell by them. Now, granted, some of it was my fault, because I've never known when to shut the fuck up until like the past couple of years since I've quieted down. But yeah, they'd get done beating my ass, giving me a wedgie, doing whatever, and I would end up just getting back up and running my mouth and just fuck it. You ain't gonna damn do me any kind of way. So, yeah, so what I ended up doing was playing with the kids that were younger than me most of the time. But, yeah, I was like in the middle. The younger kids were 2-3 years younger than me. Well, some of them like 4 years old, younger. And, which matter of fact, Jaron Strom, if you've ever heard of him, look him up. JaronStrom. He makes music, and he was a contestant on The Voice. Yeah, I grew up around him, and he was one of the kids that was a few years younger than me. But yeah, so I played with the younger kids and everything a lot of times because I always caught hell from the older kids, even though I tried to play with the older kids. But yeah, when we first moved up here, I had 4 dogs when we first moved up here. Somebody ended up poisoning one of them, and we ended up getting him back when we were in Texas, and he was a stray. I had 4 dogs. I had Moon. Moon was a stray. I named him Moondog. Then I had Abby, and I got her whenever I was 5. And then we had a dog named Grunt. And, well, we moved up here with 3 because I think Grunt was a stray too. And then we had a lab named Fuzz, which I named her Fuzzy Butt. She ended up dying of parvo before we moved up here. But I used to love playing with that dog. That dog was crazy. I'd get on my hands and knees, and she'd be to the side, and I'd lunge at her and just hit her like playing football. That dog loved that shit. She'd go crazy and stop in front of me again and wait for me to do it again. But yeah, so we didn't move up here with Fuzz. When we moved up here, the 3 dogs we had, three dogs we had were Grunt, Abby, and Moon. And yeah, either somebody poisoned Moon, or he just got into antifreeze or something. But yeah, he ended up dying. But what was crazy about Moon was whenever we first found him, I found him like a couple days before. Me and my friend were kicking the ball and went over the apartments. So I went around the apartments to get the ball. And whenever I did, he was standing there. And I was like, "Oh, what's up, buddy?" Or puppy, or whatever the hell I said, something like that. And I went to pet him, and he started growling at me. So I got the ball and took off running. And then the next day, my mom opens the door for me to go to school, and the dog is standing there. And he follows me to the bus stop, sits at the bus stop, and waited on the bus to get out of sight. And then I guess he went wherever. But, and then whenever I got off the bus, he was there. And this was every day. From there on out, he would walk me to the bus stop, sit there, and then whenever the bus would be pulling up, he'd already be there waiting. And he'd walk me back home. And he just kind of ended up adopting us. So, but yeah, so I ended up poisoning him where he got into some stuff. And that sucks because I didn't even really want to move up here to begin with. So, that pissed me off even more. Move up here, kids picking on me, damn, beating the shit out of me and all that shit. So, and then somebody kills my dog, or my dog dies. Got into something. But it was crazy moving up here. Because after we moved up here, then my grandparents moved back, or moved to Florida a couple years after. But yeah, I ended up, where was I at? I lose track of what I'm trying to say a lot, as y'all can usually tell. God damn, I gotta lose this weight. I hate my face being so fat. But yeah. So we move up here. All that happened. Kids picked on me. All that shit. I mean, I still have friends like the younger kids and friends down the road. That's actually what got me hit by the car. Well, before I do this, because this is when I can still run. Because when I got hit by the car, that ended it. And I was about to get into that, but yeah, I ended up playing football, and I played football. 8th grade, I tried out. I made the team. I made wide receiver, but I pulled my hamstring, and I pulled that shit pretty bad. That damn thing gave me problems all the time after that. So I ended up not playing my 8th grade year. And then the next year, my 9th grade year, I tried out again, and I ended up making the team that time too. It was second string because I wasn't all that great at wide receiver. I could run decently fast, but my hands just weren't all that. But I ended up hurting my neck, and this was like a couple weeks before the first game. But my helmet was too big, and they tell you don't hit with your head down, keep your head up. Well, I had my head up, and the other kid's hands hit my helmet like that right there, and it kind of pushed my helmet off, and the chin strap caught it and caught the helmet whenever it was pulling my head with it. But yeah, it was pulling my head. It pulled my head back, and it hurt. But I kept practicing. Now, for a while after that, I started losing feeling and I was losing feeling. I was getting weird feelings and everything in my arms and hands. So they ended up actually, the other players said I was crying when I went and talked to the coach. I don't remember crying, but at 14 years old, when you're feeling that feeling, it's kind of justified, really. But yeah, I went and got they took me to the hospital. The ambulance came and took me to the hospital, and they took me to, well, first off, whenever I was in the hospital, but when they first got me to the hospital, they were doing the checkups and everything, and I don't understand why these motherfuckers did this, but they gave me a prostate exam. Like, they stuck their finger up my ass, and that shit fucking hurt, and they stuck a thermometer up my ass. I hurt my neck. What the hell are you doing fucking with my ass? I mean, but the thermometer hurt like hell. You'd think the fucking finger would, but the thermometer hurt worse because the thermometer felt like it was cutting me. So, but yeah, they did that shit. Damn, did MRIs and everything, and they ended up finding my Chiari then. But at the time, they said that they didn't even give me a name for it. They were just saying, your cerebellum herniates in your spinal column. You don't need to play football no more. So then they put me in a neck brace. So I went back to just sitting at practice for a couple weeks and everything, but since I was out for the year and the rest of my life, really, I started warming up with the wide receivers as quarterback, really, and I passed to them, and everybody went crazy about my arm, because I had a hell of an arm. I had aim. I could throw on the run. And yeah, shit makes me want to cry, because football, that was first love. And I'm pretty sure if it wasn't getting hit by the car, well, I can't even say that. I gotta say the Chiari, because considering they told me that, there ain't no damn way I would have been able to play. But yeah. Which, even though a Carolina Panther had a career with it, but he still didn't play all that much, because getting hit hard enough for the wrong way with that shit is fucking deadly. And if not deadly, it could paralyze you for the rest of your life. So, but yeah. So I kept warming up and everything with the wide receivers before practice and all that. And I was going to try out for quarterback the next year. I was like, fuck it, man. I'm going to play. This is what I want to do. And I never made it to that next year. So, it's crazy. I took my kids to a football game, to the biggest rivalry in the area, and for the team that I would have played for against, or the high school I went to, against another one. And I looked at that field and sat there and thought, man, if it wasn't for all the shit, I could have owned this damn field for the next 3 years after that freshman year. And I sat there and teared up. So that's why everybody talking about Tom Brady needs to quit, because he's 45 and all this and all that. Nah, I understand it. If you can play and you love something, if you can still play and you love it and you want to play, man, go ahead and fucking play. Because when it's gone, it's gone. And when it's gone, if you don't know how to handle it, it'll fuck you up. It'll change you. So, but yeah. So there was that. I never made it to the next year. I got hit that February. So a few months later. And after that, I forgot all about the Chiari. All about it. Because, well, yeah, we'll go into where I got hit at. So, I ended up getting hit by that car. I was 14. I would ride my bike to a friend's house, and I wasn't supposed to be going up there because it was on the main road from outside the neighborhood, because I live in a more kind of country setting, or did at the time. Well, I kind of still do now, but yeah. Yeah, I ended up riding up to a friend's house, and then I went up there even more because their stepsister, or their mom's boyfriend's daughter, she was my age. She was up there, had a mad crush on her, and really liked playing. Really liked being around her and everything like that. Hell, we'd all get out there and play football, and I'd do shit and show off just because it was around her. So, yeah, I never thought she liked me the way like that, or wasn't even really sure how much she liked me as a friend. But whenever I got hit, hell, I ended up hearing she cried her eyes out about it, and so. But yeah, so I got hit by that car, and yeah, there went football. There went me running, which running was my favorite thing to do. And there went me riding a bike for a little while, because what the car ended up doing to me was it, my left thigh, I have a x-rays. So they put a metal plate there and a fixator. If you don't know what a fixator is, it's these long screws that screw into your bone. And then they have a bar across them holding them together. So I had one there. I had a fixator in my pelvis, and I got a metal plate in my pelvis because I had an open book pelvic fracture, which at the time, the majority of people that got that would die from it. Which, you know, I did die twice. If y'all have been listening to videos and heard me talk about it, I died twice. And, like one of my scars, let's see if I can get it up here. Yeah, like that right there is one of my scars. And I had a fixator in that part of my leg too. And then I had to have 2 reconstructive knee surgeries on my right knee. Because it shredded 2 of my ligaments. So they took those out and did one surgery, but that didn't work. So then they did another one, and went back in a few months later and fixed it. And I gotta wear a AFO. It's a brace on my ankle because my foot, I can't hold it up no more. Hell, I don't have any movement in my foot for a few years. It was starting to get movement back in it, but then it stopped. But that's from a nerve getting ripped out of my spine, from what they said, which they found that out in 2006, and I was hit in 97. So yeah, so that's where my life took a major turn. And the next year I ended up getting into shit. Like, I lost my mind after that. I couldn't play football no more. I couldn't run. Oh yeah, one more story because this was before I got hit. 2 of the guys, and one of them, one of the older kids, he was a senior then, and I was 14 at the time. He was benching like 400 something pounds. He had the weight record, the bench press record at the high school. And him and another one of the guys, which I think the other one was a year younger, they were sitting there throwing rocks at me and everything. So what did my ass do? I went to doing one of the things I do best. I went to talking shit. And this is what I'm saying, like, some of the bullying in a way was kind of called for, I guess, because I wouldn't back down. But well, the bullying wasn't called for, but I get what I'm saying is I brought some of it upon myself, I guess. I mean, you start bullying me even when you quit. Yeah, I was probably gonna run my mouth just because you weren't gonna sit there and keep fucking bullying me, or you weren't gonna sit there and bully me when I haven't done nothing to nobody. So yeah, they were throwing rocks at me, and I start talking shit and everything, so they come running after me. Well, I take off running, and there's this fence, this wooden fence, you know, the ones like you see out in the country. It's not like a wooden privacy fence or anything. It's just your ones where your wooden poles stick up about that high, and then it's got 2 pieces of timber that run in between them. Well, I'm running, and I jump up on the top of one of those posts, and whenever I went to push off of it, one of them grabbed my leg and swept it out from under me, and I fell, and I came down on my shoulder, and it hurt, but it didn't hurt enough to cry or anything. And they're on top of me. One of them's holding me down, the other one's just sitting there wailing on me, just blow, 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 blow. And yeah, so I couldn't get them off me. I wasn't strong enough. Hell, one of them benched 400 something pounds. So I start fake crying. I start fake like was one of the things that happened before I got hit. And another thing that happened, which I've mentioned this in another video, but I guess since this is a my life video, which I'm actually going to stop and make this like 2 or 3 parts because this is taking longer than what I thought. And, I'm not much of telling a whole big book. I'm better at just telling a single story. But, yeah, like my hair really grows out, or it tries to grow out, but I'm always wearing something, so that's probably actually why my hair is trying to thin right there, because I'm always wearing a hat or something like that, because that's the only spot it's doing it. But yeah, my hair tries to grow out and it's really coarse, and I've always had curly hair, but before I got hit by the car, and this was like a couple years before, a year or 2 before, the older kids, I wanted a haircut. Well, one of them across from us, his mom owned a barber shop, and that's what her basement was. They had it turned into a barber shop, and he ended up shaving. I wanted a haircut, so my dumb ass let them cut my hair. Well, they did some fucked up cut, and they were like, Chris, if you don't let us shave it bald, or yeah, what was it? Yeah, if you don't let us shave it bald, we're gonna leave that spot like that. Well, me being a dumbass, not thinking, hey, just go to your mom and get your mom to fix it. I let them shave it bald. So they shaved it bald, and it was in the middle of like July. We get outside and they throw my hat up on the roof. So they throw my hat up on the roof, and I just kept playing that day, and my head got sunburned really bad, and it fried my head. So ever since then, my hair has grown more coarse and all that, and my hair tries to grow out rather than down. So yeah. But yeah, since I'm at the point of getting hit by the car, or just got hit by the car and everything, I'm gonna leave it there and make this part 1. Now, since I got time tonight, I guess I'm gonna make a part 2 and maybe a 3, because now I'm really getting into a lot of shit with my life. So, what's coming? But yeah, so I'm gonna hop off here and actually restart this video. So, peace, y'all. Peace. Well, not restart this video. Well, hold on, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah, peace, y'all.